Hope the signal is okay. I'm live. Hello, today is the 27th of October and it's a Monday. I'm reading The Comedians, a novel by Greene. The comedians are Mr. Smith, who was once a president, Mr. Jones, who calls himself Major Jones, and Mr. Brown, who tells this story which plays in Haiti. And we are in the third part of this book now, in chapter 2, Roman 3. After I had left Petit Pierre at the shack, which he called his home, I drove to the embassy. The guard at the gate stopped my car and peered inside before he let me through the gates. When I rang the bell, I could hear the dog barking in the hall and Jones' voice saying with the tone of an owner, "Quiet, Mitch, quiet." They were alone that night, the ambassador, Martha and Jones, and I had the impression of a family party. Pineda and Jones were playing gin rummy. Needless to say, Jones was well ahead, while Martha sat in an armchair sewing. I had never before seen her with a needle in her fingers. It was as though Jones had brought into the house with him a kind of domesticity. Mitch sat down at his feet, as though he were the master, and Pineda raised his wounded, unwelcoming eyes and said, "You will excuse us if we finish this party." "Come and see Angel," Martha said. We went up the stairs together, and halfway up I heard Jones say, "I stop at 2. On the landing, we turned left into the room of our quarrel, and she kissed me freely and happily. I told her Petit Pierre's rumour. "Oh no," she said, "no, it can't be true." And then she added, "Louis has been worried about something the last few days." "But if it should be true?" Martha said the new ambassador would have to keep Jones just the same. He couldn't turn him out. I wasn't thinking of Jones, I was thinking of ourselves. Could a woman continue to call a man by his surname? I wondered, if she were sleeping with him. She sat down on the bed and stared at the wall with a look of amazement, as though the wall had suddenly come closer. "I don't believe it's true," she said. "I won't believe it. It was bound to happen one day. I always thought when Angel was old enough to understand." "How old would I be by then?" "You've thought about it too," she accused me. "Yes, I've thought a lot about it. It was one of the reasons why I tried to sell the hotel in New York. I wanted money to go after you, wherever you were sent. But nobody will ever buy the hotel now." She said, "Darling, we'll manage somewhere. We'll manage somehow. But Jones, it's life or death for him. I suppose if we were still young, we'd think it was life or death for us too. But now, men have died and women have eaten them. But not for love. Men have died and keep being interrupted. But now men have died and worms have eaten them. But not for love." James poured out from below. "The game's finished." His voice came into the room like a tactless stranger. "We'd better go," Martha said. "Don't say anything, not until we know." Pineda sat with the awful dog on his knees, stroking it. It accepted It accepted his caress listlessly, as though it wanted to be elsewhere, and it watched Jones with bleary devotion, where he said, adding up the score, "I'm 1,200 up," he said. "I'll send to Hammett in the morning and buy bourbon, biscuits, for Angel." "You spoil him," Martha said, "but something for yourself to remember us by." "As if I could ever forget," Jones said. Pineda's knees looked at Jones with an expression mournful, dewy, and a bit false at the same time. "Your information seems to be bad," I said. "Hammett has disappeared." "I hadn't heard," Pineda said. "Why?" "Pity Pierre thinks he has too many foreign friends." "You must do something," Martha said. "Hammett helped us in so many ways. I remembered one of them, the small room with a brass bedstand and a mauve silk coverlet, and the hard Eastern chairs ranged against the wall. Those afternoons belonged to our easiest days." "What can I do?" Pineda said. "The Secretary of the Interior will accept 2 of my cigars and tell me politely that Hammett is a citizen of Haiti." "Give me my old company book back," Jones said, "and I'd go through the police station like a dose of sorts till I found him." I couldn't have asked for a quicker or better response. Maggio had said, "You can trap a man who boasts." When Jones spoke, he looked at Martha with the expression of a young man seeking approval, and I could imagine all those domestic evenings when he had amused them with his stories of Burma. It was true, he wasn't young, but there was nearly 10 years between us all the same. "There are a lot of police," I said. "If I had 50 of my own men, I could take over the country. The Japs outnumbered us, and they knew how to fight." Martha moved towards the door, but I stopped her. "Please, please don't go." I needed her as a witness. She stayed, and Jones went on, suspecting nothing at all. Of course, they had us on the run at first in Malaya. We didn't know a thing about guerrilla war then, but we learned. "Winegate," I said encouragingly, for fear he wouldn't go far enough. He was one of the best, but there are others I could name. I was proud enough of some of my own tricks. "You could smell water," I reminded him. "That was something I hadn't got to learn," he said. "It was born in me. Why, as a child—" "What a tragedy it is you are shut up here," I interrupted him. His childhood was too distant for my purpose. "There are men in the mountains now who only need to learn. Of course, they've got Philippot." It was like a duet between the two of us. "Philippot?" he exclaimed. "He hasn't a clue, old man. Do you know, he came to see me. He wanted my help in training. He offered." "Weren't you tempted?" I said. "I certainly was. One misses the old Burmese days. You can understand that. But, old man, I was in the government service. I hadn't seen through them. Perhaps I'm innocent, but a man only got to be straight with me. I trusted them. If I had known what I know now." I wondered what explanations he had given to Martha and Pineda for his flight. He had obviously elaborated a good deal on the very story he had told me the night of his escape. "It's a great pity you didn't go with Philippot," I said. "A pity for both of us, old man. Of course, I'm not running him down. Philippot's courage. But I have turned him, given the opportunities, into a first-rate commando. That attack on the police station, it was amateurish. He let most of them escape, and the only arms he's got. If another opportunity arose, no experienced mouse could have moved more recklessly towards the smell of cheese. Oh, I'd go like a shot now," he said. I said, "If I could change..." He hardly hesitated at all, for Martha's eyes were on him. "Just show me the way, old man," he said. "Just show me the way." Midge, at that moment, leapt upon his knees and licked his face from nose to chin, as though to give him the hero a long farewell. He made some obvious joke, for he was unaware then that the trap had already closed, which set Martha laughing, and I comforted myself that the days of laughter were numbered. "You have to be ready at a moment's warning," I told him. Now, he could risk that reference. He was so sure of me. Dr. Mudgett was sitting in my office in the dark, although the lights had come on. I said, "I've hooked him. Nothing could have been easier." "You sound very triumphant," he said. "But what is it, after all? One man can't win a war." "No, I have other reasons for triumph." Dr. Mudgett spread a map out on my desk, and we went over in detail the southern road to Cap. To return alone, I must appear to have no passengers. "But if they search the car..." "We will come to that. I would need a police pass for myself and a reason for my journey." "You must get a pass for Monday, the 12th. He told me. It would take the best part of a week for him to get a reply from Philippot, so the 12th was the earliest date possible. There's hardly any moon then, and that's in your favor. You will leave him here by the cemetery before you reach Greene and drive on to caves. If the tonton would get there before midnight, and no one goes into a cemetery after dark. If anyone finds him, it will be a bad lookout for you," Maggio said. "They'll make him talk." "I suppose there's no other possible way." "I would never get a pass to leave Port-au-Prince, or I would have offered." "Don't worry, I have a personal score to settle with Concasseur." "We all have that. At least there's one thing we can depend on." "What's that?" "The weather."